Welcome back. Thank you for joining me for another draw and chat with me session. Today I'm going to be doing a little tutorial on how to draw a pot of gold in Inkscape. So if you are on my email list, then you already got the email that has the link to the free color palette. If you are not, you can go over to, let me show you really quickly. You can get the free color palette on my blog. The blog post is how to draw a pot of gold. Pretty simple, easy to find. If that's still too long for you to write, just go to paperflowdesigns.com and type in pot of gold, and you'll get that blog post. It'll pull up, and you'll be able to download the color palette from there. As you're coming in, say hi. Let me know where you're watching me from. See if I can put on the comments. As usual, I'm going to be doing this tutorial using the basic shapes in Inkscape, as usual. If this is the first time you're joining me, I'm Nadwa from Paperflow Designs. I draw digital illustrations, and I teach crafters how to make and use graphics in their crafts. And I do this all with Inkscape. I'm just happy it's Friday. I'm back on here drawing with you guys. As soon as I get my slides to actually slide. Where are we? If you have Inkscape, go ahead and open that up. You can do this along with me. If you, I don't know, are on your lunch break at work, maybe you don't have the opportunity to open up Inkscape right now, but you can go ahead and save the video, send it to yourself, send it to somebody else that you know who enjoys drawing or wants to learn how to make their own SVGs. Send this to them. That way you'll be able to save it for yourself and watch it later when you can open up Inkscape and do the drawing too. If you want to do it just the way that I did, I have a kit that I've made. It's called the St. Patrick's Day Lucky Charm Kit. In it, you will find the digital glitter sheets that I'm going to use in this tutorial. There's 3 phrases that come with it, and there's 2 different stars, a glitter star and then a solid color star. So if you're interested in that and wanting to make yours exactly like mine, you can go over to my website at paperflowdesigns.com/blog/how to draw a pot of gold. Like I said, just type in pot of gold on paperflowdesigns.com and find out about that kit. Right now, you can get it for $7. Let me roll in. It's going to be the same color palette that I used last week on the leprechaun gnome. So if you did that one, then you probably already have the color palette. If you didn't do that one, then you might want to go over there and download that so you can have yours be the same. You're always free to use your own colors too, but if you want it to look like the one that you see here on the screen, you can get this color palette and it's free. Right. This is going to be about like a 15-minute tutorial. It's a pretty easy design to make. One more time for you to see, in case you do want to know where you can get the color palette and the kit. It's all on the same blog post. Take that off so it's not in the way so you can see what I'm going to be drawing. If you're just jumping on, we're going to be drawing this pot of gold that you see on the screen. Let me open up Inkscape and show you what we're getting into. Maybe let me take this down just so it won't be in the way. Make that a little bigger so you can see what's going on. And I hope you are ready because we're going to jump right in right now. All right. So the first thing I'm going to use is the circle tool to draw like the big base part of the pot of gold. Mine is already set with the light green color from the color palette. If your Inkscape has another default color, you can just click on the eyedropper and then click on the light green color from the color palette to change the color of the circle. From there, I've duplicated the circle and changed the color to the dark green color. And what it's going to do, or what I'm going to do, is make the rim. So I just shrink that in because I want the rim to be a little smaller than the base part of the pot of gold. And then I can just click and drag on the arrow at the bottom to make it a little bigger or a little smaller. So I want it to be like nice and long, I guess, and wide. That's the word I was looking for. Nice and wide, but not wider than the pot itself. Then from there, I've duplicated that same one again, and I'm going to make the inside of the pot. And again, I'll just click on the arrow and then drag it in. So now, just using those 3 circles, I have my base of the pot. And because I've used the 2 different colors, it makes it look like, you know, the darker color is the rim, and then the light green is the inside and the outside. From here, I can group all of the circles together, or I can just leave them as is and then group them by colors later. It's your choice. What I'm going to do here is align them so that, you know, it's perfectly straight up and down. Because before, I think I had my circle over a little bit to the left. See if I make this a little bigger for you to see. Yeah. So now I made another circle. Actually, I've just duplicated that last circle that I made. One of the things I love about using graphic tools and using Inkscape is that you don't have to start everything all the way from scratch every single time that you draw. You can just use like the last thing you had and use a duplicate function to make other parts of your drawing. So here I'm going to make the legs of the pot, and I'm just using that last circle that I did, and then double clicking it to get the nodes so that I can change the shapes and move that into place. So then I have the left leg of the pot, and I'm just going to duplicate that same one. I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to click and drag it to the right. If you want to make sure that it's perfectly symmetrical and on level, you can hold down the control key while you're clicking and dragging it. If you don't care, that's fine. You don't have to do that, because then you can just do like I'm doing here and just kind of like shifting it into place. Either one is fine. So we're still using just the same basic shapes. I've duplicated that circle again. And what I'm going to make here are the coins. So I've duplicated that light green circle, and I'm going to shrink it down to like a small circle. And to shrink it down, you just have to click on it and, you know, move the arrows in. Don't double click it, because double clicking is when you want to like rotate the design. So just click it once. Even if you double click it, just click it a 3rd time and you'll get the arrows back. So just using those straight arrows, I'm going to use this same shape to make all of my coins. And I'm not going to draw all of the coins one by one, just because that would take forever. And nobody has time for that. So I'm going to start drawing one coin, and then of course, I'm going to duplicate it again. But I'm not going to use a duplicate feature to make all of the coins either, because that again will take a long time. So I'm going to draw a few of the coins. Once I have a few of them, I'm going to group them together. If you need to select more than one object, you can just hold down the Shift key and then click the other ones that you need. So like just hold down the Shift key, don't let it go. Hold down the Shift key, then click the other selection, hold down the Shift key, Just keep it held down. And that way you can select more than one item. You can see on the bottom menu, it says like group of 4 objects. So I just grouped them. And I'm going to take this group and I'm going to duplicate that. So this is like a nice quick way if I want to make an object or something that requires like a lot of texture, but I don't want to draw them all one by one. So as I'm duplicating those, each time I'm going to take that other group and then turn that into another group. So where I had like one group of like what, 4 coins, and I duplicated that, and now I have like what, 1, 2, 3, 4 groups, and I just turn that into one group. So it's basically like multiplying them and just using that to go a little bit quicker. I mean, if you really wanted to take your time, I guess you could draw them all one by one, but no, that's not really my option. Put that back on here in case anyone is just joining us and you want to know what we're doing. We are drawing a pot of gold in Inkscape using the color palette that I have on my blog post. You can find that over at peopleflowdesigns.com and just type in pot of gold and it'll come up. You can download the color palette for free. So I'll keep duplicating that set of coins that I have grouped until I get like a nice amount that I want that's going to fill up the pot. If you're a beginner in Inkscape, this is a nice project to start with. Last week's project was the leprechaun gnome, and I used the Bezier tool, which is just like a freehand drawing tool. And I know some people get a little nervous about drawing freehand in Inkscape. But with this one, there is no freehand drawing involved. So if you're really nervous and this is like your first time drawing, or even if this is not your first time and you're just a beginner and you want maybe a little bit more practice on something that's easy, this is a good one to practice with. All right, so that I have like a good solid set that I'm gonna group all of that together. Hi, Lacey, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Let me know if you are an Inkscape user. I'm gonna assume that you are if you're here. Or maybe you're just curious about Inkscape. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna unite all of these like gold coins that I've done, or all of these sets of gold coins that I've done. Sometimes, oh, maybe I got a little bit here. Sometimes what you'll have to do is if you're using a lot of groups, you might have to ungroup everything, and that's what I'm having to do here. I have to ungroup everything so that I can go ahead and select them again and then unite them. Because if you try, what could happen is that if you try to unite everything, you'll get like, well, you just see like it won't be happening. And you'll be wondering, okay, why is this not, coming together? Why is this not all? You can group it, but grouping is not the same as uniting. If you just want like something that's going to give you like a good clean cut, you're going to want to use the union function. That's what I mean when I say unite them. So there, I've got them all united together. And now I'm going to use the glitter color sheets, the digital sheets. So I'm going to import that. So if you want to make yours just like mine, I have these color sheets in the kit, in the Lucky Charm kit that you can find on my blog post again. There are about 5 different glitter sheets. There are 3 phrases and 2 different stars. And the stars, we're going to use that later on, and the phrase. So you'll see all of that. What I've done here is I just duplicated that set of coins I had. I put the glitter sheet under it or over it, but and then I clip it. So I clip it to get that that glitter design in the glitter texture in the shape of the coins. So now I have gold coins coming out of my pot of gold. If you want to use that as, it's best if you're going to use it like for like sublimation or something like that. You don't want to really use the glitter as an SVG. All right, so now I've imported the gold stars. This is also in the kit, and I'm going to move that just above the gold pot, just to make it like, give it some sparkles and make it shiny. And I can duplicate the stars to make the same thing on the other side of the pot. So I would say like this is like using it like stamps. So in the kit, you'll see that it's called like, gold star stamps. It's just like, an easy way for you to like make a really quick, cute St. Patrick's Day design for like decorations, if you already have some of the assets prepared beforehand. And since these, the star stamps are also SVG files, so you can resize them. That's like the great thing that I love about using SVG, because they're vector and they're not raster. You can shrink them, you can increase the size, and you don't lose the quality of the image. Like it's not going to get all blurry on you. All right, so now I've got my stars. I have my coins in the pot. I've got the rim. I've got the little legs on there. I've got my faithful, my son who loves to watch me. Hi, Gavin. All right, and to rotate them, like I mentioned, you just double click on the selection, and then you get a little curved arrows, and you can rotate them. All right, so this is the part we're going to make the split design. If you're curious about how to make like a really quick and easy split design, this is my method. So just using a rectangle, I've just created like a nice long, sorry, a nice long rectangle, and I put that on top of the pot. So I'm going to select the 2 features. I've selected the pot and the rectangle. And then I'll just use the difference function to kind of cut that out. It kind of like stamps out the rectangle. So now we have this open space to write a message, or if I wanted to, maybe I could add more stars to it. But I think it's really nice when you can like, leave this space, and then you can have, somebody's name or like a monogram, putting someone's initials in there. So I've seen people do like a lot of these split designs for things like kids shirts, or like birthday shirts for kids, or onesies. I don't know if you guys can hear the cat. It's like, well, as soon as I put the video on to like go live, everybody wants to come in here. All right, so now I'm using the rectangles again, and I just want to like kind of give it like a little border edge. So it just kind of like really looks like a split design, and not just, I don't know, a piece of the pot that's missing. I mean, I could have left it like that. It's just a design choice, but I'm choosing to do it this way. So I duplicated that rectangle again. I'm going to change the colors to green. And then I'm just going to unify everything. So I'm going to use the union option to make that into one piece on the pot. Right, now I'm going to import the phrase. This is one of the 3 that comes in the Lucky Charm kit. So these are just ready for you to use. And these are, I think they were JPEG files, so you're not going to be able to, you can still change the size. Like when I say change the size, you can like shrink it or enlarge it. And that was it. So I hope, like I said, it was a quick and easy tutorial. I hope you enjoyed that. If anything went too fast, if I missed anything, go back and rewatch it. The best way to get better at making SVG files is to practice. In the beginning, I practiced like just a couple of minutes, I would say like half an hour, 30 minutes each night when the kids went to bed. And that's the way that I just got better at it, was just, doing these things over and over again. In the beginning, it can seem kind of hard because you feel like I'm just never going to get this. There's so much stuff in this software program, but that's why I like to make these easy tutorials to help you out so that you can practice on something that doesn't take a lot of skill and it's not too complicated, but it still helps you progress. All right. So if you are joining me later, if you're catching me on the replay, go ahead and say hi. Let me know if you enjoyed the tutorial. Leave your ideas for new tutorials that I can do. This is the second set in my series for St. Patrick's Day drawings. I'm going to have, I think, about 2 more that I'm going to come and show you. So next Friday, there'll be another one, and the Friday after that. If you missed the beginning, you can go over to paperflowdesigns.com /blog and type in St. Patrick's Day. Or you can just go over straight to this blog post, which is how to draw a pot of gold, and you'll be able to see the other St. Patrick's Day drawing tutorials. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking the time out to watch some of these tutorials. I hope you find them helpful, and I like making them for you, and I like drawing too. So remember to share this with someone if you know someone who's into crafting, because I'm sure if you're a crafter, you probably have some other people that you know that also like crafting, and they will probably love you forever if you share this with them. All right, hopefully I have covered everything. If I missed anything, leave me your questions down below, and make sure to catch me next Friday at the same spot. If you're on my email list, you'll get an email to let you know when I'm going live, and you'll be the first to know. All right, have a good weekend. See you.